Tenebrae is a service of shadows, an ancient service with deep roots in Christian tradition, 4th century roots, and it comes from the Latin version of the crucifixion story of Christ in the Gospel of Matthew. Tenebrae facte sunt, darkness covered the earth. Tenebrae is an experience of diminishing light as 12 candles are extinguished, allowing darkness to descend, enveloping darkness, like the darkness that Dietrich Bonhoeffer, pastor, teacher, author, ethicist, prophet, spy, conspirator, prisoner, martyr, that Bonhoeffer experienced as he looked on in horror in 1933 when his beloved country acclaimed Adolf Hitler its supreme chancellor and plunged itself into the darkness of hate and of the othering of fellow human beings in the name of national pride. Bonhoeffer named this as a tragedy, called it evil. He spoke against it, acted against it, led a movement of confessing pastors who resisted it, and gave his life sacrificially, like in the Passion story of Christ, to demonstrate God's opposition to such evil. Tonight we are mindful that history can repeat itself, that the darkness of hate churns within us, struggling to show its ugly face. But tonight we also remember that the spirit of Bonhoeffer persists. It's a spirit that dwells in each of us. And in the end, this spirit will triumph because it's a divine spirit, a spirit of love, a spirit of light that dispels the shadows.
Who am I? They often tell me I step from my cell's confinement like a squire from his country home, talk to my warders freely and clearly as though it were mine to command. They also tell me I bear the days of misfortune equably, proudly, like one accustomed to win. Am I really then all that other men tell of, or am I only what I know of myself, restless and longing and sick, like a bird in a cage, struggling for breath?
Adolf Hitler came to power on January 30th, 1933. In a radio address 2 days later, a young German theologian named Dietrich Bonhoeffer issued a warning to his nation.
If a leader allows himself to succumb to those who seek to turn him into their idol, then he becomes the corrupter, one who makes an idol of himself, his office, and thus mocks God.
For the next decade, the young pastor struggled to reconcile his pacifist convictions with a call to action. Action that finally led him to join efforts to bring down the corrupter. Dietrich was born on February 4th, 1906, into a large family of Prussian nobility. His agnostic father was a distinguished professor of psychiatry and became the head of his department at the University of Berlin. Along with his siblings, Dietrich was homeschooled by his mother. He skipped entire grades and passed his state exams and graduated with his doctorate degree in theology at the age of 24. In September 1930, after giving his inaugural lecture at Berlin University, Dietrich sailed to New York, where he had been awarded a fellowship to study at Union Theological Seminary on the Upper West Side of Manhattan. Only a few blocks north of the seminary, Dietrich discovered the Abyssinian Baptist Church in Harlem. He regularly attended Sunday services there and especially loved the music performed by its renowned choir. Dietrich found great joy in these deeply moving spirituals. Yet, tempering that joy was an acute awareness of America's racial divide. Dietrich returned the next summer to Germany, where he was appointed lecturer in theology at Berlin University. On November 15th, 1931, as he was being ordained at St. Matthias Church, the young pastor began to question the resolve of the Christian community in the face of immoral authority and power. In an early sermon, he delivered a warning.
Must it be that Christendom, which began so revolutionary, must be conservative for all time? Must every new movement break ground without the church? Must the Church finally comprehend 20 years later what has actually happened? If it must be so, then should we be surprised when the time comes when our Church calls for the blood of martyrs?
When Hitler was elected Chancellor of Germany in 1933, he banned all Jews from public employment and from holding office. In violation of the treason laws, Bonhoeffer sent word of this new law to Jewish leaders around the world and called for action.
There are three possible ways for the Church to act toward the state. 1, the Church must ask the state whether its actions are legitimate. 2, the Church must aid the victims of this state action, even if they, the victims, are not members of the Christian community. And finally, the Church must not only bandage the victims who are under the wheel, but it must jam a spoke in the wheel itself. Knowing of the command for peace, the Church sees reality dominated by hate, enmity, and power. It is as though all the powers of the world have conspired together against peace. Events are coming to a head. How can we close our eyes to the fact that the powers of darkness can break out at any moment? How can we think that these demons will be driven out, these powers annihilated, with just a bit of international understanding, with just a bit of goodwill?
Deus
Not long after sending this warning to Jewish leaders, Dietrich's lectureship appointment at Berlin University was withdrawn. Shortly thereafter, the Gestapo closed the seminary he had established at Finkenwalde and arrested the seminarians. As a member of a distinguished family, Dietrich himself was spared, but he was kept under the watchful eye of Hitler's SS agents. In recognition of Hitler's 50th birthday, every minister and priest in Germany was ordered to take the oath of allegiance to the state. On March 12, 1938, Germany annexed Austria. On November 9, 1938, 600 synagogues were destroyed, 7,500 Jewish-owned shops looted, and 35,000 Jews arrested. In his Bible, next to Psalm 74, Dietrich wrote, Kristallnacht, the night of the broken glass.
Oh God, why do you cast us off forever? The enemy has destroyed everything within your sanctuary. Your foes roar in your holy place. They set your sanctuary on fire. They desecrate the dwelling place of your name.
September 1st, 1939, Germany invades Poland. Great Britain and France declare war. In a Reichstag speech, Hitler threatens the extinction of the Jews. April 9th, 1940, Germany invades Denmark and Norway, Holland, Belgium, Luxembourg, France.
The Church confesses we have witnessed the lawless application of brutal force, physical and spiritual suffering of countless innocent people, oppression, hatred, and murder. The Church has not raised its voice on behalf of the victims. By its silence, the Church has defected from the governing authority of Christ.
Finding no moral alternative, Pastor Bonhoeffer traveled to Switzerland and Sweden, seeking support for a conspiracy to remove Hitler from power. At the same time, he helped to smuggle Jews into Switzerland. In October 1941, the Nazis rounded up Jews for deportation. The first gas chambers were installed at Auschwitz.
We have been mute witnesses of evil deeds. Are we still of any use?
On June 2nd, Dietrich accepted a second invitation to visit New York, but was immediately filled with regret.
It was a mistake to come to America. If I am not in Germany in the fight, I leave my life behind. I destroy it. I must live through this difficult period of my nation's history. Must I face the terrible alternatives of willing my country's defeat so that Christian civilization can survive? Or must I will Germany's victory and thereby destroy all civilization? I know which of these alternatives I must choose. I cannot make that choice from a position of security. St. Paul wrote to Timothy, urging him to do his best to come before winter. May God grant me the grace to do the same.
On March 31st, 1943, the Bonhoeffer family gathered in the parents' Berlin home to celebrate Karl Bonhoeffer's 75th birthday anniversary. A celebration that ironically included the arrival of a birthday greeting from the Führer, awarding the professor the Goethe Medal for Arts and Sciences. 5 days later, on April 5th, SS agents arrived at the front door asking for Dietrich Bonhoeffer, who was read the orders for his arrest and taken directly to Tegel prison. Weeks before his arrest, Dietrich had been engaged to Maria von Wedemeyer, a young woman he knew as a student and with whom he shared his faith and vision. Gaining the confidence of a prison guard, Dietrich was able to smuggle out letters to Maria, who replied,
Dear Dietrich, your mother has given me 8 little photos of you. I look at them, and everything seems close enough to touch. You and your ideas, the days we spent together, and the day when we'll be together again. I'm so happy about that day. I think my happiness is so firmly rooted that sorrow simply can't reach us. However overwhelming it may sometimes seem. I fell in love with everything. Your house, the garden, and most of all, your room. If only I could see you just once, my dearest Dietrich. We both have great faith, not only in each other, but far and beyond that. So, you can't be sad anymore, can you? I'll write again soon. Whatever I think or do, I am always your Maria.
And to his parents, he wrote,
I want you to be quite sure that I am all right. The physical hardships of prison life hardly bother me at all. The only thing that worries me is the thought that you are being tormented by anxiety about me. Forgive me for causing you so much worry. I think a hostile fate is to blame. Please know that I am always strengthened by Paul Gerhardt's hymns.
Miraculously, the guards arranged for Dietrich to meet briefly with Maria, inside the prison walls.
Wenn ich einmal soll scheiden, so scheide nicht von mir. Wenn ich den Tod so leiden, so tritt du den Hefil. Wenn mir am allerbesten wird das Herze sein, so reiß mich aus den Ängsten, Kraft deiner Angst und Pein.
What language shall I borrow to thank thee, dearest friend, for this thy dying sorrow, thy pity without end? Oh, make me thine forever, and should I fainting be, Lord, let me never, never outlive my love to thee. My dear, dear Dietrich, my thoughts have been with you ever since I left the prison. As I made my way down the stairs, I kept thinking I heard your voice. Thank you for allowing me to share your thoughts and hopes, for making me so hopeful, and for enabling me to think of you with renewed intensity. I'm serenely confident that all will be well. Please believe that with me.
How can I convey what your visits mean to me, Maria? They dispel every heartache. When I return to my cell after being with you, my prevailing emotion is not one of despair. No, I'm overwhelmed by the thought of you. All the bars over my window melt away. Why should I care about a locked door? By the way, I've definitely been promoted in the last couple of days. A knife and fork turn up at every meal. I'd almost forgotten how to eat with them. I embrace you, dearest Maria.
One full year had passed when Maria wrote.
Today is the first anniversary of our engagement. There is nothing more to be said. All day long, I've been thinking, 1 year. 1 year! And nothing else. It has been a very long year.
My dearest Maria, I've had several dear and lovely letters from you in the last few days, especially the one you wrote on Christmas Day. When reality assails my soul, I feel that words only weaken and disturb what is strong, lucid, and serene. My beloved Maria, I am always and will ever be your Dietrich.
During the Easter week of 1944, Dietrich hears that more and more arrests and executions are taking place, and he senses a net steadily closing in around him. Opening his Bible, he reads the story of the Passion of Jesus, perhaps for the last time.
It was the early evening of Passover. We prepared the feast while the Master gathered with his disciples in the upper room.
Jesus took a loaf of bread, and after blessing it, he broke it, gave it to the disciples, and said, "Take, eat. This is my body." Then he took a cup, and after giving thanks, he gave it to them, saying, "Drink from it, all of you, for this is my blood of the covenant, which is poured out for many for the forgiveness of sins." They went out to the Mount of Olives, and Jesus said to them, "You will all become deserters because of me this night. For it is written, I will strike the shepherd, and the sheep of the flock will be scattered."
I followed them to Gethsemane. I heard my Master say he was deeply grieved. He asked Peter and 2 other disciples to wait for him there, while he went alone into the grove, fell to the ground, and prayed.
My Father, if it be possible, let this cup pass from me. Yet not as I will, but as thou wilt.
We found the men sleeping, I heard him ask Peter, "How could you not stay awake for just an hour?" Was the spirit willing, but the flesh so weak?
"437,000 Hungarian Jews were shipped to Auschwitz. On June 6, 1944, Allied forces landed on the beaches of Normandy, and an attempt was made on Hitler's life. 6 long months dragged on, while Dietrich continued to smuggle letters to his beloved Maria.
Dearest, I am so grateful that I can send you a Christmas letter to convey my love to my parents, my brothers and sisters, and to thank you all. We have been waiting for almost 2 years. Don't lose heart. I'm glad you're with my parents. Give my fondest love to your mother and to the whole family. Your Dietrich.
His last letter to Maria. Inspired in September by a passage in Deuteronomy chapter 34, Dietrich wrote a poem he called The Death of Moses.
Upon the mountain's summit stands at last Moses the prophet and the man of God. Unwavering his eyes look on the view. Survey the promised scene, the Holy Land. have been fulfilled. To me thy word has been forever sure. So now today inflict my punishment, enfold me in the long dark sleep of death. Rich grows the vineyard in the Holy Land. Faith only knows the promise of their wine. God quick to punish sin or to forgive, thou knowest how thy people has my love. In a fat I have borne its shame and sacrifice and seen Now at the festival, the governor was accustomed to release a prisoner for the crowd, anyone whom they wanted. At that time, they had a notorious prisoner called Barabbas, and after they had gathered, Pilate said to them, "Whom do you want me to release for you, Barabbas or Jesus, who is called the Messiah?" Then what should I do with Jesus, who is called the Messiah? Crucify him! When Pilate saw that he could do nothing, but rather that a riot was beginning, he took some water and washed his hands before the crowd, saying, "I am innocent of this man's blood. See to it yourselves," and handed him over to be crucified. My God, why have you forsaken me? Who am I? They often tell me I step from my cell's confinement like a squire from his country home. Talk to my warders freely and clearly, as though it were mine to command. They also tell me I bear the days of misfortune equably, proudly, like one accustomed to win. Am I really then all that other men tell of? Or am I only what I know of myself? Restless and longing and sick, like a bird in a cage struggling for breath, as though hands were compressing my throat, thirsting for words of kindness, for neighborliness, weary and empty at praying, and ready to say farewell to it all. Who am I? This or the other? Am I one person today and tomorrow another? Am I both at once? A hypocrite before others, and before myself a contemptibly woebegone weakling. They mock me, these lonely questions of mine. Whoever I am, thou knowest, O God. I am yours.
Dietrich Bonhoeffer was moved to Buchenwald concentration camp and then to Flossenburg prison, where he was tried for treason and sentenced to be hanged. As the executioners arrived, he spoke briefly to a fellow inmate.
For me, this is the end, but also the beginning. For it is certain that our joy is hidden in our suffering and our life in death.
On April 9th, 1945, just 2 weeks before the war ended, Dietrich Bonhoeffer died on the gallows.
In the evening, the Savior draws closer to men. In the evening, the dove returns, carrying an olive leaf in its beak. O most beautiful of hours, O eventide, now consummated in the peace with God. Am Abend da es kühle war, ward Adams Fallen offenbar. Am Abend tricket in der Heiland nieder. Am Abend kam die Taube wieder und trug ein Erdblatt in den